Hi, 5th grade. It's Mrs. Kyoko with your flipped math lesson for today, 11-10. Today's objective is I can divide a fraction by a whole number. So yesterday we learned how to divide a whole number and divide it by a fraction. And we learned that we need to use the inverse operation and then use the reciprocal of the fraction. Well, it's very similar when we divide a fraction like 1/4 and divide it by a whole number. So we're going to learn how to do that today. Here is our first problem. Half of a casserole is left over. Franklin, Brianna, and Rochelle are sharing the leftovers equally. What fraction of the original casserole does each person get? So here you can see my drawing of a pan of casserole, and there's only half of it left, and these three people are going to share the casserole, and they're going to share it equally. I have to figure out what fraction of the original casserole is each person going to get. So the first part is pretty easy. I'm going to take this 1/2 of a casserole, I'm going to separate it into 3 pieces for 3 people. So I'm going to cut it into thirds. So let's say that's Franklin's piece. Let me use a different color here. That's Franklin's piece, that's Rochelle's piece, and then that's Brianna's piece. So I have to figure out, well, how much does Brianna get, how much does Rochelle get, and how much does Franklin get out of the whole thing. So let's look at Franklin's piece. He's going to get this section, and out of the whole casserole, that is 1 out of 6 pieces. So he's going to get 1/6 of the casserole. Rochelle is also getting 1 out of all 6 pieces that could have been there. So she gets 1/6. And Brianna also gets 1 piece out of 6 possible pieces. She gets 1/6. So each person is going to get 1/6. The problem looks like this. 1/2, so that was half the casserole, divided by 3 people, and we figured out that that's going to equal 1/6, is very similar to what we did yesterday. So we're going to take the fraction 1/2, and instead of doing division, we are going to multiply and do the inverse operation, and we are going to find the reciprocal of 3. So we know that 3 equals 3/1. So we're going to flip those numbers, and then we will have 1/3. Then we can multiply the numerators. 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 3 is 6. So each person is going to get 1/6 of the whole casserole. Let's try another one. We're going to cut 1/3 of a candy bar into 4 equal parts. We have to find out how much each part is, what fraction each part is. So I've got my candy bar here. I've cut it into thirds. I'm going to take that 1/3. I'm going to cut it into 4 equal portions. Now I have to figure out each section here is how much of the entire thing. So if I cut this into 4 parts, I'm going to cut the others into 4 parts as well. So when I count them all together, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 portions. So each portion here is 1/12. Whoops, 1/12 of the entire candy bar. Let's look at the math. 1/3 of candy bar divided by 4. So I'm going to take 1/3 and keep that the same. And I'm going to change my division to the inverse operation of multiplication, and then change 4, which is the same as 4/1. I'm going to flip those numbers and change it to 1/4. Then I multiply the numerators. 1 times 1 is 1. Multiply the denominators. 3 times 4 is 12. And I get 1/12. Let's try another one. 1/4 divided by 2. And then we'll try 1/4 divided by 4. Okay, so 1/4 divided by 2. If I take 1/4, I've got my big long candy bar here. I've already cut it into 4 pieces. So if I take 1/4 and I divide it by 2, say 2 people want to eat that, so we'll cut it into 2 equal pieces. How much of the whole candy bar do they get? So I'm going to cut the rest of it into 2 equal pieces. Each piece now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1/8 of the whole candy bar. Let's try the math. 1/4 divided by 2. So I'm going to change the division to multiplication. It's 2 over 1. I'm going to flip them over, and I'll change it to 1/2. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 2 is 8. So 1/8 is that answer. Let's try the other one. 1/4 divided by 4. So instead of dividing these fourths here, 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of just dividing by 2 people, I'm going to divide by 4 people. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I divide into 4 equal sections. So now how much is just one of these sections out of the whole thing? We'll have to change all of them to fourths to figure that out. So I'm going to see how many there are in the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So each person would get 1/16. See how that works with the math. 1/4 divided, so I'm going to change that to the inverse operation, multiplication, by 4. 4, that is the same as 4 over 1, so I'm going to flip those around and get 1/4. Then I can multiply the numerators. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 4 is 16. So each piece is worth 1/16 of the whole. All right, your turn. You can draw a picture if that helps you, or you can simply do the math. 1/2 divided by 5. Pause the video, solve the problem, and then I'll show you the solution. Okay, so I have taken 1/2 divided by 5. I changed the division to multiplication. I changed 5 to 1/5, and then I simply multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators, and you get 1/10. Number 2, 1/5 divided by 2. Okay, so I took 1/5 divided by 2. I changed the division to multiplication. I changed the 2 to 1/2, and then multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators to get 1/10. Now, this is 1/5 divided by 2. Just before, we did 1/2 divided by 5. So same 3 numbers, a 1, a 2, and a 5. And I notice that we get the same answer. Number 3, 1/2 divided by 3. Okay, so 1/2 divided by 3, I'm going to change division to multiplication. 3 becomes 1/3. Multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and you get 1/6 as your final answer. Number 4, 1/4 divided by 3. Okay, so hopefully this is getting faster and faster for you. You are seeing that you're going to change the division to multiplication, change the 3 to 1/3, multiply, and get 1/12. Number 5, 1/3 divided by 4. Okay, change division to multiplication, change that 4 to 1/4, multiply, and you get 1/12. Number 6, 1/4 divided by 5. Okay, so change the division to multiplication, change the 5 to 1/5, and you should get the answer, 1/20. Number 7, 1/8 divided by 2. Okay, change that division to multiplication, change the 2 to 1/2, multiply, and get the answer, 1/16. All right, so this is a super challenge. This time you're going to divide a fraction by a fraction, and I want to give you the hint that you always, always, always find the inverse of the divisor. So whatever is doing the dividing. So it's always going to be that second number after the division box, or I'm sorry, after the division symbol. That's always what you're going to flip. All right, so give that one a try. Okay, so 1/8 divided by 1/2. I changed the division to multiplication, changed 1/2, flip them around, and you get 2 over 1. Then multiply the numerators to get 2, multiply the denominators to get 8. 2/8 is the same as 1/4 when you divide 2 out of the numerator and the denominator, and your answer is 1/4. And that is the end. We are finished. Thank you. Have a good night.